Today I'll be going over how to track your calories using a food scale, and I'll also be showing what I eat in a day, and my goal for today is to eat 2,000 calories and 150 grams of protein. So for breakfast I'm going to have an Oikos 000 Greek yogurt with 100 extra grams of plain Greek yogurt with a serving of PB Fit powder. First thing I do is turn on the scale, place the bowl on the scale and zero it out. Now I add in the container of Greek yogurt. The container is about 134 grams. Then I'm going to zero it out again. Now we're adding about 100 grams of this plain non-fat Greek yogurt. Good. It's good enough for me. And then the PB Fit powder, one serving is 16 grams. So I'm going to add about 16 grams. Perfect. Now I'm just going to mix it up. For a little added flavor, I'm going to add a graham cracker sheet to the top. It also adds texture. It reminds me a little bit of cheesecake. All right. That's my breakfast. Next, I'll be making some cookie dough overnight oats, and I'll put the recipe and the ingredients on the screen. And for this, I use oats that I blended in a blender, just because I prefer the texture. You don't have to blend your oats to make this recipe, that's just what I did. So we're going with 40 grams. Perfect. Ten grams of PB2 powder. Close enough. Zero it out. 30 grams of a vanilla protein powder, and this is just one I got on Amazon. It was the cheapest one available. All right, close enough. We do just a dash of salt. Also gonna add about 15 grams of mini chocolate chips. I'll just do 10. And we just add enough water to get the desired consistency. I'm gonna start by just pouring and then mixing. That looks good to me. That was about 60 grams of water before it reached its desired consistency. Almost forgot. I'll be adding also 4 grams of stevia to sweeten this up. There we go, perfect. Then I'll mix that in. And now I'm just gonna let this sit in the fridge for a few hours just to get cold and absorb all that water and thicken up a little. For lunch, I'll be having 2 eggs on a sourdough English muffin. With a little bit of cream cheese on the muffin. And then I found these bacon crumbles at the grocery store that I thought would add some flavor. I typically use like Canadian bacon or ham, but I don't have any today. So one serving size is about 7 grams. So we'll put 7 grams in the eggs. And this is what my lunch looks like, and I'll put the macros on the screen. And for dinner, I'll be preparing a protein pizza. I have this recipe on my channel already, but for today, I'm just gonna make one serving. So I zero out the scale, and I'm gonna add 100 grams of all-purpose flour. That's good enough. Zero it out. Then I'm using 20 grams of this Vital Wheat gluten, which is basically just pure protein. It has macros similar to protein powder, 24 grams of protein per 30 gram serving. And I'm gonna use 20 grams. We'll just say that's good enough. And then about 1 gram of instant rise yeast. I'm gonna assume that was at least 1 gram. I don't know why that's not registering. And then 2 grams of salt. And that's good enough. Then we just mix it together. And then we're adding in about 90 grams of water. We give it a mix around. Once it gets to about this point where it's dry and clumpy, you get a wet hand. You combine it all together until it forms a ball. All right, everything's combined together well. I'll let that sit for about 15 minutes, but first I'm going to cover the top. After you let the dough ball sit for about 15 minutes, you can stretch and fold it. Stretch and fold it about 4 times, and then place it into your high-sided container. Now I'm just going to roll it into a ball. Once it's formed a ball, spray the high-sided container with non-stick spray. That was a little too much. You could just place the dough ball in there. Let that sit for about 2 to 3 hours. Let it rise. And that's the protein pizza crust that I'll be using for dinner tonight. It's about time to eat dinner, so I'm gonna start getting the pizza ready. I'm using pizza sauce here that I'm gonna serve out. About 80 grams of this Cento crushed tomatoes with some added seasonings like garlic powder and salt. This is the pan I'll be using for the pizza, or for the crust. Spray it with non-stick spray first, and then plop the dough ball on it. And then knead it to spread it out. Once you're satisfied with the crust size, you can start lathering on the sauce. Next, we're gonna weigh out 2 servings or 60 grams of part skim mozzarella cheese. And then we'll put the cheese on the pizza. And I'm also gonna add 1 serving or 16 slices of turkey pepperoni to the pizza for flavor and to add some extra protein. Also adding some banana peppers. And then we'll bake this in the oven at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes or until desired level of crispiness. And here's the final product. I'll put the macros on the screen. I'm gonna eat this whole thing, and then after this, I'm gonna have a smoothie to finish off the night. So here's the smoothie bowl. A lot of food, a lot of volume. Good amount of fiber will keep me full the rest of the night. And then I'm gonna add about 10 or 11 grams of this Kashi cereal. I think it tastes good and adds nice texture, nice crunchy texture to the smoothie. Hopefully you found this video helpful. My goal was to show what it's like to track calories using a food scale and a calorie tracking app like MyFitnessPal. That was also a day of eating, trying to hit 2,000 calories and 150 grams of protein. And I'll put my macros for the day on the screen here. Thank you for watching, and I hope you tune in for more in the future.